Hello, my name is Wes Dawson, this is Gabagool Nate, and welcome to this week's episode, Spring Break COVID House Rules. No, I both love and hate the sound of those horns, because on one hand, they very clearly get across the point you're trying to make, but on the other hand, they make me feel older every time I hear them. If you're a new listener, you might be thinking maybe there's something to be found within the subtext for the title of this week's episode, as it's loosely based off, Cider House Rules. And if you're expecting to find a deeper meaning, you are listening to the wrong podcast. I just originally had it titled Spring Break COVID Rules, and for some reason I just had Cider House Rules stuck in my head. I've never actually seen the film. So make no mistake about it, this is Gabagool Nate. Now, if we want to talk about mistakes, how's about we talk about the last prank phone call I ever made? And in reminiscing about this memory, it made me realize my friends and I, we truly were little horrible pieces of shit when we were children, as we thought it'd be a fun idea to prank phone call the kids' help phone line. Now, if you're wondering what that is, it was a number you could call found on the back of a Smarties box or any other Nestle candy products for children experiencing mental, physical abuse, or any other kind of issues. And this was long before anyone started acting like they legitimately gave a shit about anybody else's mental health. Because you see, back in my day, we lacked the global platform to publicize our good deeds, thus nobody cared. Now, because apparently we were little fucking shits, someone should have backhanded us. Regardless, so we're making these calls, we're having our fun, and then we decide to call one of our friends to see if he wanted to come hang out. He agreed, said he'd drop by in a few minutes. We're like, all right, well, let's make a couple calls before he shows up. So it's my turn to make a call. I pick up the phone. Instead of dialing the number again for the line dedicated to helping children with legitimate problems, I pushed redial. Ended up calling my friend's house again. His mother picked up. And before anything could be said, I went on a rant about the story of how, when you're a kid and your parents have you kind of running around naked playing outside in the pool. It's normal when you're a young child, But I just noticed that as I grew up and as the years went on, in our family photo albums, I was still naked at every family function. My parents would strongly discourage me wearing a swimsuit. And, I'd be 14, 15, 16, and they'd still want me to walk around the house naked. Now, obviously, the intent of this was to make the telephone respondent extremely uncomfortable, but instead they just said, well, don't worry, Wes, when I see your mother, I'll talk to her. And needless to say, I was mortified and realized the mistake I had made. Now, spring break, so many different things come to mind when we talk about this. Of course, one of the most enticing parts of the traditional spring break experience for me is the welcomed and encouraged exchange of ideas, inspirational writers, and political discourse free of condemnation. And of course, body shots, and drinking to such excess that it's as though you're trying to rid yourself of the memories of two failed childhoods. Now, another thing that pops into my head is, of course, the 2012 film Spring Breakers. Now, who can forget, the bikini-clad Selena Gomez, Vanessa Hudgens, and those other two? Now, there's only one reason that I sat through that 93-minute pile of questionable filmmaking. Motherfunkin' James Franco, people. Get your minds out of the gutter. That was an easy one. Now, before I list the top 5 things I would gladly give away if I was partying at spring break, let's get into good bad. So a good. Those Girls Gone Wild videos. For those of you who don't wake up with regular back pain, Girls Gone Wild was a video series that you would order, I guess, on television and get VHS tapes of girls making regrettable life decisions on camera for no compensation. And the bad, that these videos have been replaced basically by social media. A good, that those Girls Gone Wild videos are gone. They are exploitative and misogynistic. The bad, well, as I mentioned earlier, now girls offer up premium content for free. Unless you're some idiot and you're willing to pay for it on OnlyFans or something like that. A good, Bash at the Beach 96. A bad, Bash at the Beach 2000. A good, using good bads that everyone can relate to. A bad, well, the last good bad that I used, referencing a wrestling pay-per-view from the 90s. For this week's Shoot or Pistol Whip, it's actually going to be combined with another popular segment, Dumb Shit People Say Who Should Be Smarter. The subject for this week was yours truly, Wes Dawson, saying, you know what? I'm going to take March break off this year to travel and do something. Well, we all know how that turned out. So not only was it a dumb thing to have said, I will pistol whip myself for that. So for the next segment in studio, we have one of the hardest partying, pill popping, beat dropping, crack dripping, turntable flipping, melanomas in remission. Of course, Mac the Wolfhound for everyone's favorite segment, Wow or Woof. Now, if you're not familiar with this segment here at Gabagool, we like to take celebrities and sometimes people I know personally and judge them purely on their physical appearance. Yes, it may seem judgmental, it may seem petty, but it makes me feel better about myself. So, Mac, welcome. All right, Mac, so the first one is James Franco. Oh, couldn't have said it better myself. Next on the list, Dave Franco. Ooh, damn right, the dude does not get enough credit. We're going to close off the list with Marcus Bagwell. Woo! You're right on that one. He is the stuff and the ladies cannot get enough. Now, originally the plan for this episode was to detail my raucous adventure to some tropical destination to truly celebrate spring break the way it was intended. But with this whole 2020, 2021 shit going on, that obviously isn't happening. So we're just going to end the episode there. So upcoming for next week, well, ever since the demise of the Girls Gone Wild series, it has inspired me to launch my own new streaming service called Dudes Made Loose. Of course, until I can entice some new models or have money to actually pay them, it will exclusively be me getting real cheeky real fast. And also, we will explore the pressing question of, have you ever wondered where the sound effects of babies crying comes from? Well, I'm going to show you in my home studio where I pay people to take their infant children and I verbally abuse them to the point that they cry. I make good money off it. It provides quality life experience for the voice actors. It's a win-win. And lastly, I will recount how I grew up in a home so homophobic, I was forced to eat pickles horizontally like corn on the cob. And popsicles? The fuck out of here. Out of the question. All that and more next week on Gabagool and 8. My name is Wes Dawson. Thank you for listening. Please listen, like, share, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. And next time you're ready to party, don't forget